Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning, depending upon where you are. Welcome to today's webinar on how to scale automation in banking, financial services, and insurance with machine learning and RPA. My name is Ed Markowitz, VP of Business Development for Automation Edge, and I'm glad to be joined by our CEO and co-founder, Uday Barajda. And we'll do a little bit of just some housekeeping. So all lines are presently on mute. You can certainly have the opportunity to submit your questions through the GoToMeeting panel that's located on the right-hand side as illustrated. And with that, let's get started. The agenda will look like digitalization trends in banking and financial services and insurance, how to scale automation enterprise-wide. We'll show you some use cases. And as far as Automation Edge, it's our intelligent automation platform. And then we'll go into a bit of a Q&A. So with that, as far as some of the trends that we see within this sector, certainly one trend is the interest from the C-suite, right? From the CIOs, from the CMOs, and even the chief digital officers are very much interested in RPA, machine learning, AI, etc. This could be from within the sector, the reliance on legacy systems, or possibly the lack of enterprise-wide integrations. We certainly believe that the aspirations are to get these firms to be more agile, like getting new business models, new revenue models via virtual assistants, etc. So the journey really starts out with standard use cases, which the key drivers were really all about operational efficiency and cost reduction. And then as you move to the value add use cases, then, again, standard use cases were there for quick wins, and now the value added use cases are there to extend beyond cost savings and operational efficiencies, things like organization agility, improving customer experience, service delivery, and I also add employee satisfaction. It's also about reducing the turnaround time for these enterprise workflows and helping organizations be more streamlined. And then as you move into RPA plus, this is where you get to the intelligent automation point, where you leverage machine learning, natural language processing, key decision making, if you will, and inclusive of multiple technologies like OCR, like the virtual assistant, etc. Now, some of these standard use cases or in different categories, like KYC, know your customer assessments and AML checks, where the bot can actually go out into disparate systems to get different data to understand your customer. Can also go into third-party sites where it can get AML type detail and data to complete that AML process. Another example could be data reconciliation, whether it's around invoice or taking two documents and reconciling it from a financial point of view, as well as chaser processes like chasing premiums or claims, if you will. And then as you move on to or move into the value-added use cases, these are also some very interesting, cases that take it a little bit further, like customer center, customer ID, call center, customer ID verification, where your call agent can actually type in the number that he or she receives from the customer on the phone, and the assisted bot can then go out into disparate systems, grab the data, and present it to that agent while he's got the customer on the call. So one example could be showing the notes from the last conversation. Another example could be, showing the products that this customer has acquired from the institution and possibly help introduce new products to talk to the customer about. And if that conversation moves forward, then you can automatically enter an entry into the CRM system so that your sales folks can then follow up through a open entry within your CRM system. Also regulatory monitoring. changes to regulatory requirements change constantly. So the bot can actually go out to these sites that have regulatory bodies that has these regulations, bring them down into your system, compare to the last regulatory statement, and look for the delta. And therefore, you don't miss by reading these extensive documents, and the bot can help you understand where that delta and where that change was. Also, could be grabbing data from different sites on your customer, and so with that and the privacy, you can create that the agent or your digital assistant to become GDPR compliant. And then as you move into the RPA Plus, this is where you start to create skill-based tasks, right? Support for unstructured data, machine learning comes into play, as well as complex decision making. So if you take the example of email triage, an email can be sent from a customer, for example, asking for a e-statement for the period from January to March. With machine learning and intelligence, the digital assistant can actually parse that email, and whether the request is coming in from January from March or from 01-03, the digital assistant can understand that, and then bring out the e-statement and send it back to the customer. Digitalization of structured paper form. This is where the combination of technologies really come into play from a OCR point of view, along with RPA, to give you a great basis for intelligent automation. Some of the key challenges that certainly the sector is facing is staying competitive against your digital newcomers, right? This requires the banks and the financial services and the insurance company the need to embrace and expedite digital transformation. Some organizations are very innovative. Some like to sit back and watch and wait for others. I believe within RPA and as well as IT process automation, it's not a matter of if, it's really a matter of when do you start that journey. And within this sector, there's huge numbers of manual processes. So how do you take that manual process, automate it, quicker turnaround time, less errors, 100% availability because the bots are running 7/24. You can also look at multiple outdated systems, the swivel chair effect, if you will, by leveraging automation, RPA, and our orchestration layer to integrate disparate systems is a great way to help automation get realized within an existing environment. So there's really two approaches that you can take. Yeah, you can go shallow, go wide, and go shallow, meaning you can look at different processes in different departments, and try to get quick wins, adoptions. It could be within underwriting, it could be within renewals, things in this nature. Or the other approach is really to go narrow and deep. So take a mission critical process to a business, let's say claims processing or payouts, if you will. And Uday will show you a great example on how we helped organizations with their payouts for mid-leavers. So where go wide and shallow could be a subset of a number of processes or a number of steps within a process. When you go narrow and deep, that's taken an entire end-to-end enterprise process, which could have 20, 70, 150 steps within a given process, and automate at that point. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Uday to take it through the next part of the presentation. Thank you, Uday.
Thanks, Ed. Let me continue from where Ed has left. So AutomationEdge is a platform for digital enterprise, and we always had this approach that RPA can definitely help in the automation journey, but beyond RPA technology are also essential for enterprise-wide automation. So if you see here, automation edge wheel, RPA is just one quarter of the wheel, and other is about IT's automation. So these sections are useful for what Ed talked about, is about the wide automation. And if you have to kind of go beyond that, is where there are low-hanging fruits, where you want to go deep and narrow, you need to have essentially other technologies, and that's about one of the important technologies, the data and ability to handle data efficiently, having an ability to do ETL or big data connections, and about the OCR. Other important technology is machine learning AI, and this we have made it available with the product, and we don't have any dependency on cloud to kind of access this technology. So when these combination of technologies available with you, it's possible to simultaneously approach the deep and narrow use cases, which make big difference to the organization, as well as low-hanging fruits and enterprise-wide automation with relatively a shallow approach, but many processes being automated in the organization. Combined with this is our ability to do rapid API integrations and build those reusable components, allows our partners and customers contribute into the bot store, which may be an enterprise specific bot store or something as a marketplace, which Automation Edge has, and partners can contribute there. That kind of allows is go beyond the screen based and screen scraping based automation, but build the components and use them many times. This is about RPA technology, and RPA technology essentially took the path of achieving automations using the surface or the screen of automation, screen of applications, instead of using APIs and BPM and SOA for every scenario, which was not justifiable in terms of ROI. And that's why there are many humans sitting there and doing a swivel chair action to take input from one system, apply certain rules, and enter the information into another system. What we provide as a RPA technology is a combination of object-based approach to build the workflows, and as well as the smart recording feature. The smart recorder allows you to build the granular workflows, which more look like flow charts, but essentially build the automations which is maintainable and granular enough. In terms of benefit of adopting RPA, Ed talked about it, the opportunities which are there. Essentially, by doing automation and using RPA technology, what organizations are benefiting, the essential things why they are kind of driving these initiatives in the organization. One is about the revenue uplift, growth of the revenue, cost optimizations, customer experience, as well as regulatory compliances, and reduction of errors, and all of these. Now I will talk some of the use cases and case studies, which essentially will give you an idea in terms of RPA and AI and how it is used in the industry and how it can benefit organizations. So this is one of our customer. They started their automation journey. One of the initial cases they did is help them grow their business. Essentially, these email bots and underneath technology, including RPA, has helped them grow into the market which was otherwise uneconomical for them to pursue. And that has helped them to go into SMB market, where the turnaround time and the margins or the cost, which are basically very competitive scenario. And in that case, they would not have able to operate in this market with the traditional approach of a large sales team and a longer time of wait for the customers. With this technology, they are able to reduce both in terms of the manual effort, as well as reduce the turnaround time significantly from 5 days to, let's say, 5 minutes. From there, they basically went enterprise wide, and their approach was to kind of attack low-hanging fruits and expand rapidly. So they could kind of take it to different departments and different business units, including fire, motor, crop, or other areas of P&C business. And in terms of the different processes they automated, including the quotation processes, the actual issuance of policies, to claims or no claims bonuses, to endorsement and customer connect for renewals and such things. This other organization, they took the other approach, and they are into life insurance business. They started with the use case, which was deep and really narrow. Narrow in the sense that it was kind of specifically focusing on payout as the area, and how is that a moonshot can be achieved, wherein it was otherwise was difficult to kind of think about and achieve an end-to-end automation and provide a different level of user experience for the customers who are, even when they are mid-levers as far as the insurance policy is concerned, how is that that experience can be great, and they will return whenever is possible for those customers. So in this case, they could reduce the time of quotation from 3 days to few minutes, and as well as the payout process itself. It used to take 7 days. Now it kind of happens in 2 days. That 2 days is also because there is a dependency in terms of stock market closing and NAV value calculations. But it's essentially is a very high impact financially impacting process. They have done around $1.5 billion worth of payouts after this automation using the RPA bots, and essentially kind of provide that experience which they started with as far as customer experience is concerned effectively. And then they took the journey further, and when they kind of went ahead, it was enough was proof there in the organization, right from the top management, high visibility, and with the great achievement, they could rapidly go wide in the organization and achieve essentially both assisted and unassisted bots based automation. And they could go into many different departments, including the group operations or underwriting or claims and central operations and all these different areas, and could use this into in the different areas, including the KYC, group insurance on off, and other such areas. Now, in terms of banking, this customer, their focus was in terms of how do they provide a digital experience at the workplace. How is that the business users experience from IT can be significantly improved in terms of customer sat and turnaround time. And they initially started with is more about end user support processes, including password resets or user account unlock, shareholder accesses, to the employee moves and kind of effectively providing access to different systems. And from there, they went on automating other areas, including data center and networks and automation of that. And when they did this, these automations on the IT side, they reached to a level where they are able to solve around 10,000 tickets every month, both the incidents and service requests using AutomationEdge technology. And from there, they have expanded in other areas of business operations, including the payments as well as central operations in the bank. There are other low-hanging fruits in the banks which can basically be attacked first. Is processes like bank account closures. And for example, this particular bank, they had 25 folks required to work every day in terms of the account closures for different types of bank accounts, whether it is demat accounts or about their checking accounts or savings accounts, and many different accounts they had, customer accounts. They had errors earlier and a huge turnaround time and exception handling scenarios. So from there, when they automated this process, they could save in terms of these many resources, and the turnaround time improved significantly, and accuracy as well, and they could reduce those errors and basically successfully handle the business and system exception scenarios. So there can be many such processes which are rules based and essentially can be taken up for wider automations in the organization. But there are many of our customers pushing the envelope further. They are taking this technology and kind of using the machine learning, AI, NLP capabilities available with the product, and helping them get solved some of those challenges which are not possible to solve just by rules-based approach. For example, here, this is about their support desk, where there are support at xyz.com and such addresses for these banks and insurance companies. They keep getting complaint emails and request emails and things like that. And essentially, all these emails are unstructured documents or unstructured text. And what AutomationEdge provides here is an ability to combine RPA workflows with machine learning and AI workflows within a single process studio for development. So when the bots, they can learn from the past data how humans have solved these kind of tickets and the requests. And the request can be like the customer may ask for a statement of account, or they may ask for the document status, or for an insurance company, customer may ask for the change in address or change in contact number and such requests, and they are very high in volume. And if humans are put in that task, it's basically essentially there is a backlog and pile up happens, or in terms of the turnaround time, the customer experience is not great. But with this approach, the bot can learn and they can recognize the intent and entity when it receive the bot receive a new email. And the approach can be three different ways it can be solved. One is that if the information is understood by the bot, it can send the auto response in terms of the additional information which is needed from the customer, or it can do is an end-to-end recovery or resolution of that request by understanding and getting the intent and entity, going to a backend system and using the RPA, pulling that information, for example, getting a statement of account for that customer, and applying the password and then protection and digital signature, and send back that particular document to the customer within few minutes. Or if it is not possible to get all the information, there can be a partial remedial action in terms of the essential documents being pulled up, and then it's handed over to human to look at and fill the additional set of data points before the bot can go and pull the required information using RPA and send that back to the customer. So this is the way it can kind of go further in terms of the enterprise-wide automation. And this technology can be used in many different ways. And I'll talk about it further in a few of the slides. At Automation Edge, what we are providing to the financial services industry is not only just a pure RPA technology, but these ready automation bots. For example, here for insurance, they are built using the solid building blocks which are available with Automation Edge as far as NLP, machine learning, ETL capabilities, or strong reconciliation capabilities, ability to handle Excel's really fast at a 10x speed, name matching, and other such support which is available with the product. And with that, for example, in case of new business, the technology can be used, and these ready bots can help in terms of the cross sell within the new business unit for them to kind of attack new opportunities to gain the business from the existing customers. The other areas, like it is shown here, for example, in a group policy, these ready workflows can be used for different scenarios or different requirements. For example, when there is a group insurance policy, and in terms of servicing, there are scenarios where this process is called as on and off, where the customers send the employee data, and that needs to be entered into the core system. And before entering it, that information has to be converted into a standard format. So there are these bots which allow you, without coding, to convert any kind of information coming in into a standard format. And then over and above that, you can basically have is a group underwriting kind of a bot, which can learn from the past data in terms of how humans have done the occupational class calculations, and that is the bots can learn and build their model, and then the prediction step can help you arrive at the occupational class for the new set of employees of the customer, and then essentially arrive at the underwriting and the commercials which should be given to this customer. So like that, there are many different areas in reconciliation, for example, can basically be these ready bots can be used. Now, same way we have built it for banking, these ready bots and these workflows, and those are used by can be used in different departments and different business units, including retail banking, corporate banking, wealth management, or in governance and risk areas. So as far as the machine learning is concerned, it can be used I talked about support desk, but these prediction steps which are available with the product and the model building step allows you to use this, take the machine learning and use that into the workflows without needing to know, basically having a deep understanding about how to use different algorithms available out there. They are very flexible, and you can provide a different type of data to these model building steps, and essentially you can use that in customer churn scenarios or risk or default and many such scenarios. Not only that, we have provided the ready to use prediction steps, but we support R and Python within the platform. So your data science team can build their own innovative solutions using AI and ML, and use those within the RPA workflows. You can automate every department, whether it is front office, back office, middle office, or IT operations, and use it in different areas, including ERPs, automations, account payables, and such things. As far as automation is concerned, we have 30 odd mid and large size banks as our customers, and financial services and insurance companies. And they have used Automation Edge both for use cases for enterprise-wide automation, as well as a deeper and very organization differentiating use cases in their companies. 7 of global 2000 companies are using our product. The product is mentioned in both RPA as well as IT process or automation market guide, a unique position that we have. With that, I would like to open this session for Q&A. If you are, and over to you, Ed.
Yes, so please feel free to send your questions in, and Nilesh, when you receive them, please let me know.
Sure.
So you have a chat window available with GoToWebinar. So you can type in those questions and we will be happy to answer them.
Okay, so we just got one in, Uday. What are some of the KPIs that you can mention as a result of adoption of intelligent automation, and especially around IT process automation? So thanks for that question. Firstly, the combination of RPA and IT process automation working in concert brings the ability to accomplish an end-to-end process for either a narrow and deep approach or a wide and shallow approach. So with ITPA, you can achieve up to 70% cost savings, right? The combination of both RPA and ITPA ensures a reduction in IT operations costs, which can then be utilized to fund other IT transformation products. There are certainly increased productivity improvements because IT process automation aims to ensure the reduction in downtime of these mission-critical revenue-generating apps and improvements in SLOs, the service level objectives, which are a key element of SLAs between IT and the business. IT also processes.
Okay, so the next question is how do you choose which approach to take, whether the shallow and wide or deep and narrow in the organization as far as RPA initiative is concerned? Depends the way the organization setting is and the risk appetite which is there. We have seen both the approaches work depending on the type of the organization. And I have described those characteristics or the organizations where it has succeeded. So we have seen both the approaches, and the narrow and deep is essentially about the wait time, because these use cases may take a little longer to go live because it kind of brings in a lot of difference to the organization. They might have a great financial impact on the organization. So there is a lot of UAT and technologies basically coming together and kind of making them work. So that can take a little longer as against the shallow and wide approach, where you get is you can attack the low-hanging fruits and show the results. In case of deep approach, it's kind of, it gets a lot of attention in the organization, and further journey becomes really smooth, and you can really go wide as well, not necessarily always have approach of going deep. But yeah, it depends. The question is, how does the AutomationEdge connects to the enterprise systems, and does it use the UI or otherwise approach? So we have 400 plus ready steps to connect to different systems and ready bots. And there many a times when they are reusable components, they essentially are based on either the core system components of AutomationEdge, or they are API based or a backend based connectors to different systems. and they are stable over the longer period as far as the target system changes are concerned, and much more easier to maintain and to a drag and drop approach. So we have connectors to, for example, Salesforce, ServiceNow, or Azure or Office 365, and many such systems. The next question is, are these plugins, for example, for insurance or for banking, these ready workflows, are they customizable? For example, in the underwriting area or in the group insurance policy areas? The answer is yes. So these workflows are available to you, and they can be used in the different scenarios, and they are generic enough, and if you want to kind of modify for your own organization setup and customize it, or basically essentially provide a different data inputs to those steps, that is possible. Yeah, so the next question is, tell us about RPA from an ETL standpoint, right? When you are dealing with different use cases, many a times the use cases involve a large amount of data. For example, reconciliation steps, or fraud detection steps, or when you have to do is deduplication with your customer master data. So in those scenarios, if you are able to handle the data efficiently or at a speed, for example, even an Excel processing, which is large enough, which has millions of records, or those records are in database, if you are able to handle using the ETL technology, essentially you are able to handle that data at a really high speed, 10x faster, and with that you will be able to achieve the results of automation much faster, and that would be many a times of essential need of the hour to achieve the automation and turnaround time much faster. And if your data processing is going to take a lot longer, or a development time is a lot more, then it defeats the purpose of automating that kind of use case. So ETL technology along with RPA is very, very important. You would hear some of the large banks talking in some of the forums that how they built is they purchased RPA from one vendor, ETL from another vendor, and then built a team for machine learning, and that is how they could build a smart technology, and then could scale all the heights of all the mountains, and probably they will do a desktop automation one day. That's the approach. Is if you want to kind of really scale up, you need the combination of the technology, which I have talked about in AutomationEdge Wheel. Next question is analytics and reports built into the product? Yes. So we do provide we do provide canned reports, as well as you can build your own custom reports and specific to your business units, and make them available in the reports and dashboards. And those are very handy to use it for the business operations team and IT operations, as well as for the management reports and dashboards. Right. So how does machine learning help in risk management, and do you have any examples? So machine learning is, for example, the group insurance policy. And in that, if there are human errors and the risk can get introduced in terms of arriving at the premium calculation for a large number of employees for an organization, when you're arriving at, rather than just going by a human judgment and calculations, is that this machine learning can help. It can learn from the past data how humans have done the occupational class and classification, and based on that, the bots can come up with their own classification and occupational class for new type of organization, for a new organization and employees in that organization. And that can assist and reduce the risk in terms of underwriting. Okay, with that, we are at the top of the allotted time for this webinar. And thank you all of you for joining this webinar, and look forward to meet you again in the next webinar. Thank you.